and therefore those skilled in war bring the enemy to the field of battle and are not brought there by him. Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. It is the business of a general to be serene and inscrutable, impartial and self-controlled. Perfection in war lies in so sapping your opponents that he surrenders without fighting. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. There are routes not to be followed, armies not to be attacked, citadels not to be besieged, territory not to be fought over. Ground which can be freely traversed by both sides is called accessible. When the thunderclap comes, there is no time to cover the ears. Fierce language and pretentious advances are signs that the enemy is about to retreat. If the enemy has occupied them before you, do not follow him, but retreat and try to entice him away. According to my assessment, even if you have many more troops than others, how can that help you to victory? Hence the saying, one may know how to conquer without being able to do it. Where the army is, prices are high. When prices rise, the wealth of the people is exhausted. Apparent confusion is a product of good order, apparent cowardice, of courage, apparent weakness, of strength. The control of a large force is the same principle as the control of a few men. It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers. Invincibility depends on oneself, the enemy's vulnerability on him. When the enemy is relaxed, make them toil. When full, starve them. When settled, make them move. Like the sun and moon, they end but to begin anew. Like the four seasons, they pass away to return once more. Know the enemy, know yourself, your victory will never be endangered. Know the ground, know the weather, your victory will then be total. Know the enemy and know yourself, in 100 battles you will never peril. Quickness is the essence of the war. Spies cannot be usefully employed without a certain intuitive sagacity. If those who are sent to draw water begin by drinking themselves, the army is suffering from thirst. The difficulty of tactical maneuvering consists in turning the devious into the direct, and misfortune into gain. When your opponent gives you an opening, be swift as a hare. The control of large numbers is possible, and like unto that of small numbers, if we subdivide them. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. Without subtle ingenuity of mind, one cannot make certain of the truth of their reports. Until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. Thus the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man, willy-nilly, by the hand. Defeat the enemy's strategy. The quality of decision is like the well-timed swoop of a falcon which enables it to strike and destroy its victim. Without harmony in the state, no military expedition can be undertaken. Without harmony in the army, no battle array can be formed. For them to perceive the advantage of defeating the enemy, they must also have their rewards. If their forces are substantial, prepare for them. If their forces are strong, avoid them. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own, so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. A kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life. One who sets the entire army in motion to chase an advantage will not attain it. There is no place where espionage is not possible. All war is deception. The art of giving orders is not to try to rectify the minor blunders and not be swayed by petty doubts. The king is only fond of words, and cannot translate them into deeds. With regard to narrow passes, if you can occupy them first, let them be strongly garrisoned and await the advent of the enemy. Ground which can be abandoned but is hard to reoccupy is called entangling. The business of a general is to kick away the ladder behind soldiers when they have climbed up a height. So the important thing in a military operation is victory, not persistence. One who is few must prepare against the enemy, one who is many makes the enemy prepare against him. When orders are consistently trustworthy and observed, the relationship of a commander with his troops is satisfactory. Therefore the good fighter will be terrible in his onset, and prompt in his decision. If you are far from the enemy, make him believe you are near. Secret operations are essential in war, upon them the army relies to make its every move. For to win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from other men. To conquer the enemy without resorting to war is the most desirable. The highest form of generalship is to conquer the enemy by strategy. If this is long delayed, weapons are blunted and morale depressed. Hence the saying, the enlightened ruler lays his plans well ahead, the good general cultivates his resources. Being unconquerable lies with yourself, being conquerable lies with your enemy. Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory, for it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated. Birds rising in flight is a sign that the enemy is lying in ambush. When the wild animals are startled and flee, he is trying to take you unaware. If a general shows confidence in his men but always insists on his orders being obeyed, the gain will be mutual. In all fighting, the direct method may be used for joining battle, but indirect methods will be needed in order to secure victory. Know the enemy and know yourself. These are 6 ways of courting defeat, which must be carefully noted by the general who has attained a responsible post. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. The best victory is when the opponent surrenders of its own accord before there are any actual hostilities. It is best to win without fighting. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Do not interfere with an army that is returning home. All warfare is based on deception. There is no place where espionage is not used. Offer the enemy bait to lure him. The consummate leader cultivates the moral law, and strictly adheres to method and discipline, thus it is in his power to control success. There are not more than 5 primary colors, yet in combination they produce more hues than can ever been seen. The leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. Know thyself, know thy enemy. Please watch these wise videos.